Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Finally figured out what's going on with my microphone. I had an expensive mic plugged in, and apparently I was recording all of my audio through my laptop. So that's fixed now. I'm going to go over my favorite deck to play today. This is my Gimme All Your Woo deck. Um, the name comes from my life as a teenage robot. I think the guy's name is Himcules. He yells something like this, always made me laugh when I thought back on it. So this is one of two mono red decks that I own. The other one is Felled Onto the Third Eye. The reason I built this is just I like stealing people's cards and I find it funny. That's basically all that came down to it. That and this was one of the first cards I pulled. So when I first built Commander deck, this was, I think, the second deck I built at that time. So Etali, Primal Storm. He is a legendary Elder Dinosaur 6/6. Whenever he attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Paying, not playing. That don't make no sense. So basically, everybody's going to reveal the top card on attack. You're going to play any number of them that you choose right there on the spot. You get to do it while going around normal play times. So if you top deck a creature off the top, let's say you top deck Lightning Mauler, you are able to throw down Lightning Mauler instantly. So this has some plays with being able to do things after attackers are declared but before defenders are declared. Not to mention that you could just steal good things off of other people's decks. It's pretty budget at about $400, mostly just because there's some special versions of cards and different things in here that you'll see. Overall, it's just a fun deck. I'd probably say it's like a 5 or a 6, just because it's hard to close out games. When you knock people out, you lose all the permanents that you stole from them. So you really have to try to set yourself up with a good situation where you're able to win the game. But you'd be surprised at how fun a deck like this is to play, because you never know what you're going to pull off the top. So most of the stuff I put in this deck revolves around Etali. That is my main goal with this deck. You can do a lot more with extra combats and different things. You could do dual caster lines and different things for infinites. I pretty much just line up with Etali and try to do Etali things. So I have Generator Servant. You could tap, sack it to add 2 colorless. If the mana is spent on a creature, it gives that creature haste, so this is good for Etali. Goro Goro. Pay 1 red. Creatures you control gain haste until the end of turn. He can also create a 5/5 red dragon for 5. I've never done it before, but mostly because you have to have an attacking modified creature, which I don't do a lot of in this deck. He's mostly just there for haste. Lightning Mauler, same thing. At 1 red, soulbound, human, berserker, basically whatever this is paired with has haste, which is going to be Etali 9 times out of 10. Autopack Huntmasters, 1 and a red, human, shaman, dinosaur creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and you could tap it to give dinosaur haste. Hey, Etali is dinosaur, so that also fits. Runaway Steamkin, because if we're casting red spells, we're able to put +1 counter on him. If we remove 3, we get to add 3 red mana. Soulbright Flamekin. It's 2 elemental shaman. You could pay 2 into it to give a creature trample. If you do that 3 times, then you get to add 8 red mana to your mana pool. So basically, this just helps us get Etali out a little bit faster. Also can give other creatures trample if we steal nice things off of our opponents. Not to mention that in the end, we're going to end up with 8 red mana, so we can give 3 things trample and end up mana positive. A completely regular bookcase for 2 colorless. It's a wall defender 0/4 that you can pay 3, tap it, and make a creature unblockable. So it's nice if you need to get through with Etali and you don't really have an open option on the battlefield. Burnished Hearts 3, Elk. You pay 3, search for 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped. Combat Celebrant is 2 colorless and a red, human warrior. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it, which basically means that it doesn't untap during your next untap step. And when you do exert it, you get to untap all other creatures you control and after this, you get an additional combat phase. There are combos with this, but I don't believe I have any in the deck. If I do, then I don't even realize that I have it. It's mostly just there for an additional combat to try and set ourselves up for a good turn with Etali. Bloodsworn Steward is 2 colorless red. It's a flying that gives our commander +2/+2 in haste. The +2/+2 is pretty important because our commander sits at 6/6. So we need to get some kind of pump out there like this to really be able to ensure the fact that we're going to be able to kill an opponent in 3 swings. Wild Magic Sorcerer, 3 in a red. The first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. This card is something I haven't been able to use yet. I just recently added it, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a big winner in this deck because when Etali attacks, you exile the top card of each player's library. So basically, then you just choose the highest CMC card, cast that one first, and then cascade off of that to help you get further down into your deck. Port Razors, 3 red. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. And it can't attack a player it is already attacked. Just a really good card, really helpful. We have multiple ways to make things unblockable, so this is really nice. Wandering Archaic, 5 colorless creature avatar. Whenever an opponent casts an instant sorcery spell, if they don't pay 2, then we get to copy it and choose new targets. So this is just really good if people are starting to remove my stuff and they're slowing me down. I like to throw this out in the battlefield just to help control everything. Kite Charger is 4 colorless and red. Flying Haste Dragon, 5/5. When it attacks, you can pay 7. If you do, you untap all attacking creatures. After this, there's an additional combat phase. I actually got this card for free because of how damaged it was, and I have a really cool foil version of it that's whited out around the sides. If I can figure out how to edit in a picture, I will throw that up there. But this is a really good card. Hellkite Courser, 4 colorless red flying dragon, 6/5. When it enters, you get to put Etali onto the battlefield, and it has haste. And then after you get after you have to return it to the command zone. But it's really nice just to be able to get out there if we've lost our commander a few times, or if we just want to throw it out there a little faster. Marag is a landfall guy that gives you additional combat phases. That's all you need to know about him. He gets +1/+0 for each time he's attacked, but most of the time he gets blocked because he's big scary. And Oblivion Sower, pretty interesting card in this deck. Whenever you cast it, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards from his or her library, puts them into exile, and basically you're going to choose any number of lands from exile and put them under the battlefield under your control. Etali is always swinging and always exiling, so if you notice that someone has a couple lands in their exile because they haven't given you anything, steal their lands from exile and put them on your battlefield. So pretty cool card. A lot of the sorceries and instances in here I will kind of brush past very fast. They're all straightforward. There's really nothing too crazy in the deck. Or at least something that wouldn't be expected. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2, has flashback. Gamble, we get to search for a card, put it in our hand, and then discard a card at random. Strike It Rich creates us a treasure for 1 red, and then we can flash it back to create us another treasure. Nice little ramp spell. Vanderblast either destroys an artifact I don't control, or you pay 5 and destroy all artifacts. Well, each artifact you don't control. Jessica's Will, really popular card that's come out in the past year, kind of blown up, been in pretty much every red deck. 2 colorless, 1 red. If you have your commander, you get to choose both modes, which is add 1 red for each card in target opponent's hand and exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. So don't play your land before you play this, because you get to play your land from exile when you do that. Shreds of Sanity, you get to return 1 instant, 1 sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card, and then exile this. You're going to get back extra combat step, basically, and an instant that would help you out. Disrupt Decorum, 2 colorless red, go to all creatures you don't control. Just really nice if you're getting beat up or someone else has a big scary board. Plus it usually helps you get through unless they have Vigilance. Relentless Assault, 2 colorless red, untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there's an additional combat followed by an additional main phase. Seize the Day, untap target creature. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. which has flashback for 2 colorless, 1 red. Storm's Wrath deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Most situations, our Etali is going to be safe from this, so this is just a nice thing to help clear up the board for you. Chandra's Ignition is a new card I added to this. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So this is 6 damage to everything, at the very least, other than your commander. Fury of the Hordes is a 5 and red, or exile 2 red cards from your hand and cast for free. Additional combat step, and taps all creatures that attacked. So, good card. And Blast Sack, deal 13 damage to each creature. It's supposed to cost 8 and a red, but usually it costs a red. No one really plays it. No one plays this really for 9, unless you're in really dire circumstances. Instance, I have a Lightning Bolt in here just to help deal some damage, get rid of something pesky, taxi, stuff like that that's down. Pyroblast, counter target spell if it's blue, or destroy target permanent if it's blue. Red Elemental Blast again. I'm an anti-blue person, so anything that says no blue, I'm a big fan of. Abrade, colorless red. It either deals 3 damage to target creature if there's something pesky out, or you destroy an artifact so that you can start doing your game plan. Desperate Ritual, colorless red, add 3 red. Increasing Vengeance is a 2 red, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. This is in here to help copy additional combat steps. Tamir Battle Rage, 1 colorless red, target creature gains double strike until the end of turn, and it gains trample if its power is over 4. Usually this is on Etali, but if you steal something nice and spicy off someone, this is really good. Thrill of Possibility, red colorless, discard a card, draw 2. Debauched Trickery is a counter spell, which is very nice because we're running a big scary dinosaur and people are going to try and counter it and attack us. Chaos Warp shuffles a permanent into its owner's library, and then they reveal the top card. If it's a permanent, put it on the battlefield. Usually I use this on other people's things, but I have been known to use this on our own. It's very nice if we have nothing else to do and we have no counter spell to just get some free permanent out of it. Chef's Kiss. Oh my god. 1 colorless red, gain control of target spell that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it and then reselect at random the copy. And then you choose new targets for the original. So this one's really good if someone says, hey, I'm going to path Etali before the damage goes through. You go, actually, 2 things are going to get pathed and neither one of them are going to be mine. Crash is 2 colorless red, destroy target artifact, but you can cast it for free by sacrificing a mountain. So just another nice way, once we have Etali out, in a lot of situations we will have too much mana, so we get a free destroy an artifact spell basically. Deflecting Swat, my friend bought this for me actually, shout out to Andrew. So 2 colorless red, if you control your commander you cast it for free, you get to choose new targets for spell or ability. So if someone's trying to target Etali with something, you get to change it to whatever you want. Kamal's Fury is 2 colorless red, sacrifice a creature as an additional cost. It deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. So this is another nice thing. If someone says they're going to kill Etali, you could just fling it at someone's face to help deal damage. Reiterate. Reiterate is 1 red, it has 3 buyback, and you choose target instant or sorcery you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. You get a copy, target instant or sorcery. It can be used on other people's, but typically you're going to try and save this for when you play an extra turn spell. Very important that if you top deck extra turn spell off the top of your deck, when you're swinging with the Etali, you could just reiterate it so that you get another combat step after that one. Seething Song is 2 colorless red, you could add 5 red. Soul's Fire, 2 colorless red, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any target. Usually you're going to choose someone's face. Volcot Awakening is 2 colorless red, put any number of cards from your hand onto the battle. Oh my god, that would be awesome. Put any number of cards from your hand onto the bottom of your library and then draw that many +1. So this is nice if we're just kind of having a redundant hand and it's not really helping us out. Then we could go ahead and put it at the bottom and get ourselves situated to actually do something. And it also is a land on the backside if you need to, but Typically, we don't need to do that. And then Bolt Bend. It's 3 colorless and a red. Change the target of spell or ability with a single target. But if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it costs 3 less, which our commander is. So this is a 1 red, change the target of a spell. It's a slightly worse deflecting SWAT. And I'm a little surprised no one ever plays this card. I'm not really sure because it's basically the exact same thing. So I don't know. But anyway, artifacts, most of them are pretty straightforward, so I'll try to brush past them fast also. Commander's Plate is 1, equips to a commander for 3, which is the only person we're ever going to equip it to. But if we equip it to someone else, 5. Equipped a creature gets +3/+3 and has protection from each color that's not in our commander's color identity. In a mono deck, this basically gives it protection from everything except for red, which is very nice because not a lot of people are going to have targeted removal for a creature like Etali in red. Soul Ring, 1 colorless, taps for 2. Mind Stone, 2, taps for 1 colorless, or you could pay 1, tap it, sack it to draw a card. Resignators in here, 2 colorless. You could pay 2, tap it to copy Etali's ability. Swiftfoot Boots is 2. Equipped a creature has hexproof and haste, equips for 1. Tome of Legends, 2 colorless, enters with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on the tome. And 1 colorless, remove a page counter from it, draw a card. Crystal Ball, really good card in this deck. It's 3 colorless. You pay 1, tap it, and scry 2. This is basically kind of like a top. You just go, hey, I'm just going to pick out what I want to be on top before I swing with Etali. Darksteel Plate is 3 colorless. Darksteel Plate has indestructibility. Equipped to creature is undestructible. Equipped 2, so really good protection spell. Worn Power Stone is 3 colorless. Comes into play tapped. Taps for 2 colorless mana. Helm of the Host, absolutely insane card. I've seen a couple of my friends play with that I said, yeah, this has got to go in here. It's 4, and it equips for 5, which is a lot. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. And the token gains haste. So what's better than 1 Etali? 2 Etalis. Thrawn Dynamo? No. Wow. Thrawn Dynamo is a 4 colorless artifact that taps for 3 colorless. And Gauntlet of Power is a 5 colorless artifact that when it comes in, you choose red. Red creatures get +1/+1, and whenever you tap a red land, you add 1 color of that choice additionally. It says choose a color, but I mean, come on, we're not going to choose anything else. We're not choosing swamp. It's not going to make sense. We're not going to choose plains. Enchantments. We have Curse of Opulence, which is 1 red. You equip a player, enchant a player. Actually, don't equip them. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, you create a colorless artifact token named Gold. It has sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And each opponent attacking that player does the same thing. So basically, this is going to help us ramp out Etali. It's also going to help our opponents, but we're going to try and kill them before they have a chance to do anything with that. Vessel of Volatility. 1 colorless red. You could pay a colorless and a red to sack it to get 4 red. So this just helps us ramp. Shiny Impetus, 2 colorless and a red. You enchant a creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded, so it can't attack us. It has to attack another creature or player if able. And whenever enchanted creature attacks, we get to create a treasure token. And the big daddy of the whole deck, Fiery Emancipation, 3 colorless, red, red, red. Whenever a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. Absolutely disgusting card. Etali is likely to get through, likely to not be hurt, and if this is out and Etali deals damage, that's already 18, not including if it's buffed at all, which if we have any buff on it, that guy's dead. Like I said though, always make sure if you play a deck like this, you have to be cautious of the fact that when you steal people's stuff, if you knock them out, you will lose all of their things. So just be careful on who you're killing. And then lands are down here, pretty straightforward lands. We have a Castle Embrith. we can pump something if we need to, basically. It's nice to be able to pump Etali if we need to get through with that extra little bit of damage, especially if Fiery's out. Cryptic Cave taps for colorless, or you can sack it to draw a card. You can only do it if you have 5 or more lands. Flamekin Village gives a creature haste. Forgotten Cave could be cycled. Guildless Commons bounces a land but taps for 2 colorless. The Labyrinth is pretty nice in this deck because you can pay 4, tap it to remove target attacking or blocking creature from combat. Mostly if someone has some tricky thing up their sleeve to flash out a blocker or something, you could remove Etali from there and still get the triggers off of it. Looming Spire, when it comes in, target creature gets +1/+1 against first strike until the end of turn. This is nice if you're setting up for a couple extra turns or anything, and also goes with Fiery. There's 22 mountains in the deck. Mirrored Landscape helps us get 2 basic lands. Rogue's Passage, pay 4, tap, target creature can't be blocked this turn. The Crucible of Defiance is a legendary land, taps for red, or you can cycle it. You discard it to create 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens that gain haste. Ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature. This is basically just a mountain, but I figured that I don't have anything that actually matters that much about mountains, so might as well put something in there that we can create 2 blockers instantly, because we don't run a ton of creatures in the deck. Temple of the False God taps for 2 colorless if you have 5 or more lands, and War Room gets us a draw. So I'm going to start showing these when I get down here if I remember. 76 red, 24% colorless. That's what a test hand would look like. I would probably not keep this because we don't have any ramp and really nothing going on initially. This one's not that bad. You get the tome out there, you can draw off of it, help yourself go forward. You have haste if Etali gets out. But you're probably going to go put out the Tome of Legends, put out your other mountains, Volcate the rest of it because you don't need that right now. Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's stuff you could do to make this deck better for sure if you wanted to make it more consistent, and I think that in the future I might consider adding in dual caster mage combos just to have a way to actually win with the deck more than just kind of playing a commander I like and beating ass. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I had some good interaction on the last couple videos. I really appreciate that, guys. I'll try to have a couple more videos coming out. I'll probably have one more coming out this week, maybe Saturday or Sunday. So I really appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.